start with the injuries first. Maurice Hurd has a high ankle sprain, so he's going to be out a while. Michael Kendricks has turf toe sprain. He's also going to be out for a while. Daniil Mente had a back. He's day-to-day. Myers is evaluated for a concussion last night, but he was cleared today. Didn't have one. Game, guys. Go ahead.
Does the injuries to Kendricks or Hurst kind of set up any moves you guys have to make?
That's something that, I know, anytime you have an ankle and a toe, you're looking at least a month. So that's something we're definitely going to have to discuss today, how it plays out for the final roster spot, what we have to do to get through the next week or so. That's stuff we'll end up discussing at the end of the day, and I'm sure we'll have a decision by tomorrow.
You said last week that Trey Lance is very good at self-correcting. I'm just wondering whether you saw that between the Chiefs game and the Chargers game that he had taken care of some things that he did in the Chiefs game that maybe he needed to work on.
Yeah, I saw him. Some things he missed in the Chiefs game, he definitely was focused on and corrected them in this game. I also saw him make some corrections throughout the game, too, which was nice to see, not having to wait till you got to the film and stuff. Some things that he was aware of that he did and stuff I thought he cleaned up the more comfortable he got in there.
Kyle, it seems like Lance. Kyle, it seems like Lance is throwing the short passes a bit too hard at times. Is that a fair thing to say, and is that something? How do you work on that?
I think that's a fair thing to say. I just think a lot of it has to do with having your feet under you and seeing things at the right time and not having to speed it up so much, because when you do speed something up and you have the type of ability he has, it's very hard to take something off of it. Some of the big arm quarterbacks that I have had had some very similar issues. That's why you got to have guys with good hands, but you also want to make it easier on them and stuff that I think he'll get better at the more he plays.
Kyle, I know you're not ready to make an announcement, but do you feel you have two quarterbacks that are ready to start?
Yeah, I think we have two quarterbacks that we can. I think we have three quarterbacks we can. When you being ready to start, it's about getting a guy a game plan that gives you a chance to win, and I think all our guys are capable of that. So, but they wanted me to make a big announcement last night, but much advantage into us making an announcement, so there or any position. So that's kind of the reason why we do that.
Kyle, obviously Trey has only had one rush. It was a scramble and more than 60 snaps. Do you kind of, realizing he's being purposely handcuffed a little, do you grade him on a curve a little bit because this isn't quite exactly what Trey Lance can do?
Not totally. I'm not. It depends what you mean by grading him. I'm just trying to get him better and get him ready for the. So we try to work on the things to get better at. Put in a game plan for any quarterback, and when you do that in the regular season, you hope they execute that game plan. I think when you put in a game plan for Trey, there'll be some stuff different than what we've done with quarterbacks in the past since we've been here. But I don't see it much differently. I don't look at you got to do whatever's part of the game. You want to do it to the best of your abilities, and there's some other things that he brings to elements that he brings to the game that we obviously haven't done for obvious reasons preseason. But I'm looking at everything else too.
Kyle, I know you've said that the third preseason game you'll use kind of as the traditional dress rehearsal as you have in the past. With some of the vet guys that you've kept out, the Kittles and the Warners, guys like that, will you use them in week 3, or are you going to keep them on the shelf the whole way through?
Right now, my plan is to use them. It's still early, though. We just reviewed the game tape today. We're giving the players tomorrow off. We're going to get a normal week of practice in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Stuff could always change based off of practice and how it goes, but for the most part, I like to get everyone playing a little bit.
Kyle, I got questions about two of the fifth-round picks. I know Jaylen Moore is playing left tackle because of the injuries, but is he going to be part of the discussion potentially at right guard at some point before the season starts? And second question, is Talon Noah setting himself up to compete for the starting strong safety job week 1?
Yes, I think Huff, and the way he's played these last 2 weeks and the way he's been in practice, I think he's definitely given himself an opportunity. Obviously Tart's been out, UP, And Tavon's had a real good camp too here, so we'll see how that finishes out. What was the other one? Jaylen?
Yeah, it's Jaylen Moore at right guard.
I mean, we're trying to figure out who's our best 8 or 9 guys to keep on the roster. Based off some injuries and stuff, we knew when we took Jaylen, we could throw him at either one, similar to how we looked at McKivitz when we took him too. Then you try to put, first of all, where's the best chance for him to be part of that team and make those 8 or 9 guys. And once he does that, you got to be ready everywhere. So we'd love to get him some more reps inside, but with some of the injuries we've had in camp and stuff, we haven't been able to, which I do think has been a good thing for him at tackle. I mean, it's very rare you get to play in a whole game like he did like that. I think he's gotten better each week with experience, and happy about how he's coming along.
Kyle, you mentioned in the first
have you made the roster moves yet to get down to? Go ahead, Trey.
No, we haven't made any roster moves. When we get back late like this, I have to meet with the offense. I got to meet with the defense. Got to meet with the special teams. Then here in about 30 minutes, we meet with the special teams players. Then a team meeting. Then an offensive meeting. Then a defensive meeting. So I'm pretty scrambled until all that's over. Usually about by 5, and everything will settle, and I'll sit and talk to John about all the roster moves and stuff. And I know we don't have to make those cuts till I think 1 tomorrow.
Kyle, after the first preseason game, you mentioned that Trey Lance took some step backs in his fundamentals. Now that you've looked at the film, how did he look in the second one?
Better. I mean, I think anytime you get thrown into the heat of battle, especially these younger guys who haven't played a lot, I mean, you always kind of resort to what you've done, and your technique gets off a lot. It did that a ton in the first game. I thought it was much better in the second game, and hopefully it'll continue to get better in this third game.
Do 3 more for Kyle, please.
What are some of the things that you saw out of Trey that led you to believe that there's a lot of promise, certain things that maybe stood out that were leaps from the first game?
I just like how he responded throughout it. I mean, Trey hasn't played a lot of football in the last year or so. I think in college, I think he's thrown 1 interception since high school. So, it's kind of to watch him go out there and throw a pick, to have a couple close. That's some things he isn't used to, and I know it got him down pretty bad. But to watch him to go out there and recover was nice for me to see, because I haven't seen him have to play through much stuff like that. Watching all of his college tape, didn't throw a pick till his one game in the COVID year. So to be able to see him do that on this stage and to do it out there and to be able to leave him out there for a few series and let him kind of fight through that, I really think eventually after that he started getting in the best rhythm that he's been in these 2 games.
Kyle, you got any concern over Brandon Aiyuk just dropping a pass at the start of each game? And I mean, he had a few last year, but he's had a few in camp too this year.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I know he's working at. Something that we don't want to happen ever. And receivers, when their hands touch the ball, you never want to drop it. And that might not be totally realistic, but that's what we're striving for. And I know that's something Brandon can definitely get better at.
Kyle, John,
check at third down back. It seems like you isolated him one-on-one and he got open, and then you have to probably trust him in the blocking schemes as well.
Sorry, you went out. Who's that?
Kyle Juszczyk. Just as your third down back, it looks like you're isolating him on one-on-one routes, and obviously he's just a natural blocker in general.
Yeah, no, Kyle always gives you an option. I mean, really at everything. He's as good of a fullback as there is. Out on routes, we haven't played a tight end position a number of times, and we definitely hand him the ball some too and treat him like a halfback. So it always starts with protection when you get him in there because he's as good as anyone we have. But you guys saw the second play of the game, the 2nd and 8. We didn't get our wide out or our tight end, and to be able to get Juice over the ball where he moves the chains for us, how quick he gets out, how smart he plays there, definitely an asset for us.
Go ahead, Branch, last one.
Kyle, John Lynch had shared in the spring that coming back from Ohio State's Pro Day, you were on the plane designing Trey Lance specific plays very excitedly. Was that, if indeed John Lynch has his story straight, are you dusting off old plays? I don't know, you're inventing new plays that football has plays to be invented. And is it safe to say those plays have not been seen yet in the preseason?
Yeah, we've been showing them all. That's really all we've been doing. I hope you guys haven't been bored with them. Joking, you guys can't see me, so you can see I'm smiling. Personally, I don't think there are any more new plays in football. Football's been played for a very long time, and so whatever anyone acts like they've invented a play, it might have been done 40 years ago out of a different formation. I mean, you look back to old school football with the veer and option football and stuff, and then you remember when they first started doing the Wildcat in Miami and stuff. Not like it was new football, and it was really just old school football out of some different formations. And all that stuff kind of comes full circle. I mean, it's just what are defense getting used to seeing? What are they preparing to stop? And when they do that stuff, then what are they not used to? I think it's always evolving. I mean, you look back to teams like Nebraska and stuff, and when they were winning national championships and always running with Tommy Frazier and all those guys. Not many of the NFL, college was doing that. Everyone was practicing against other schemes, and then all of a sudden they have to go against that one week and they can't stop it. A lot of people start to do that stuff, and then people can't stop the spread offense and going to on the run and shoot. And it's all about kind of what defense are doing, what they're preparing against, and that's why as a coaching staff, it's not just inventing some new play. It's about how to tie a play in that your players can do that attacks weaknesses in defense. And if you can do that, you can put defense in a bind, and you can really make them adjust. And that's the stuff you're always trying to look for. I mean, us coaches, when we think of players, we're always drawing up plays that we think those guys can do that could really put the defense in a bind. And as guys get hurt or as you face different stuff, that's why you're always adjusting and trying to just put your team and your players in the best chance to win.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, we'll see you guys Wednesday.